Sarah Santoso, and my ID number is 33230096. And today I want to present about syllable and masculine rhyme. Part 1. Topic 1. Syllable. Definition. According to Bazar Bazeva, a syllable is a fundamental unit of language organization that combines vowel and consonant in patterns such as CV, which is consonant vowel, and CVC, consonant vowel consonant, and is a central building blocks for word formation and rhythm in phonology. According to Roach, a syllable is a unit of pronunciation containing a single vowel sound which may or may not be surrounded by consonant. Roach emphasized that the nasal must be a vowel, while consonants from the margins. According to Blevis, the syllable is a phonological organizing unit that helps language structure sounds combination and determine a loud consonant cluster. Function of syllable. The first one is organizing spoken sounds. Syllable act as pattern that determine how speech sounds are grouped and pronounced. 2. Shaping rhythm and prosody. They influence the rhythm and stress patterns in a language, forming the basis for prosody. 3. Aiding language education. Knowing syllable structure helps learners decode pronunciation and spelling. For example, open versus closed syllable. 4. Phonetic structure. They constrain which sequence of consonants and vowels are allowed in a language. The last one is supporting comparison of language. Researchers use syllable structure to compare typological patterns across language. The example is paper. Paper. Two syllable is CV plus CVC. Two motivation. Motivation. Four syllable CV plus CV plus CV plus CVC. 3. Celebrate. Celebrate. 3 syllable. 4. Important. Important. 3 syllable. 5. Blue. 1 syllable. CVC. Part 2. Topic number 2. Masculine rhyme. Definition. A masculine rhyme is a rhyme where the final stressed syllable of two words match perfectly in sound. According to Sur, masculine rhyme occurs when the final stressed syllable of two or more words match in sounds, creating a forceful and abrupt acoustic effect due to the emphasis being on the final syllable. According to Fab, masculine rhyme typically involves monosyllabic words or phosyllabic words whose final stressed syllable ring. According to Etheridge, masculine rhymes are a characteristic of English lyrical poetry because English often stress the final syllable in key position. Function of masculine rhyme. The first one is to create strong closure. According to Sur, explaining that masculine rhyme gives a firm and punchy ending to poetic lines, strengthening emotional impact. 2. Enhance rhythmic structure. Because the rhyme is on a stressed syllable, it reinforces meters and rhythmic predictability. 3. Improves memorability. Stressed syllable names are easier to remember, making them common in songs, nursery rhymes, and rap. 4. Supports poetic form. Traditional forms like Harry couples and Shakespearean sonnets often rely heavily on masculine rhyme. 5. Strengthening acoustic prominence. A stressed rhyme echoes more strongly in the listener perception, enhancing the visual effect of poetry. And the example is the first one is bright night, 2. Take a break, 3. Strong long, 4. Feel real, 5. Crash flash. And here's the reference that I use. That's all my explanation about syllable and masculine rhyme. Thank you for listening, Miss. Good morning, Miss. My name is Lazara Santoso. ID number is 3223096, and today I want to represent about study case part 2. The first one is assimilation. Assimilation is a phonological process in which one sounds become more similar to a neighboring sound. This usually happens to make speech faster or easier to articulate. Diane and Aswafi explain assimilation frequently appears in connected speech due to articulatory efficiency. Example number 1. I'm gonna from going to. Underlying form gone to. Surface form gonna. Why is assimilation? The cluster to change into na. The sounds become more similar and easier to pronounce. This is a typical example of assimilation in fast speech. Example number 2. Kinda from kind of. Underlying form kinda. Surface form kind. Why? The and v sounds weaken and blend into surrounding sounds. The words become easier and faster to say. Assimilation of manner occurs. Example number 3. Wanna from want to. Why? The sequence to becomes na. The sounds merge into a single, simple unit, a common assimilation in conversational English. 2. Metasis. Metasis occurs when the order of sound is switched beside a word. This process is common in child language development or when speakers simplify difficult sound patterns. According to Sophocles, metasis is frequently found in child speech as a phonological simplification strategy. Example number 1. Ask. Why is metasis? The S and K sounds switch position. Classic example of consonant reversal. Example number 2. Spaghetti. Paschetti. Why? The consonant clusters is refers to proof. Very common in child speech because clusters are difficult to pronounce. Example number 3. Animal to animal. Why? The internal vowel change position within the word. Children organize the sounds to create an easier structure. 3. Epithesis. Epithesis is insertion of extra sounds, usually a vowel, to make a pronunciation easier. This often happens when consonant clusters are difficult. According to Woodley, epithesis occurs when speakers adjust syllable structure constraints during speech production. Example number 1. Film to film. Why? A vowel U is added before M. Classic vowels epithesis to simplify the ending cluster. Example number 2. Animal to animal. The why? Because a new vowel U is inserted. Children use epithesis to break up complex syllables. Example number 3. Spaghetti to paschetti. Why? A vowel A is inserted after P. The insertion helps break apart the S cluster. Example number 4. Grandma. Underlying form grandma. Why? The original form contains an epithetic D historically. In the story, the child deletes the D, but the full form demonstrates epithesis. B. Phonetic transcription, or APA. Read the following 20 items aloud using the correct IPA pronunciation. The first one is confidence. 2. Probably. 3. Accommodate. 4. Massive. 5. Governor. 6. Neighbor. 7. Ability. 8. Experience. 9. Graduate. 10. Happening. 11. Generation. 12. Moderate. 30. Service. 40. Intensive. 50. Category. 60. Miracle. 70. Department. 18. Gratitude. 90. Relay. 20. Spontaneous. C. Case study. Definition. Stress preserving suffix. Suffix that do not change the primary stress of the base word. The suffix is unstressed and leaves stress on the same syllable. 2. Stress attracting suffix. Suffix that draw the stress toward the syllable immediately before the suffix. The syllable just before the suffix becomes stressed. 3. Stress shifting suffix. Suffix that cause the main stress to move to a different syllable, often further from the original stress. So the stress patterns are derived forward and different from the base. A. Stress preserving suffix. Form the story, hopeful, careless, darkness. Stress preserving suffix do not change the original stress position of the base word. That in its way to explain that these suffixes maintain the phonological identity of the full word. 1. Hope. 2. Hopeful. Base hope. Monosyllabic stress. Drive hopeful. Stress remain on hope. First syllable. Why? Because the suffix full is unstressed and attached without moving primary stress. It preserves the base stress. From the story Hopeful, Careless, Darkness. 2. Care, careless. Base, care. Monosyllable. Derive, careless. Stress remain on care. Why? Because suffix less is unstressed and does not attract stress. The base syllable stays stressed. 3. Dark, darkness. Base, dark. Derive, darkness. Or stress remain on dark. Why? Suffix less is unstressed, anonymizer, and preserve the base stress. Shorter reconnaissable suffix like full, less typically do not change the main stress of the base. B. Stress attracting suffix. Story example, education, musician, geology. Stress attracting suffix cause the primary stress to move to the syllable immediately before the suffix. According to Diani and Aswati, these suffixes influence stress placement by pulling stress toward the suffix boundary. The first one is educate. 2. Education. The base is educate. Stress on ed. Derive. Education. Primary stress on K, the syllable just before ion. Why? The suffix ion or ion commonly cause the stress to fall on the syllable immediately preceding the suffix. So stress shifts to an antipolymeric region dependent on form. Music to musician. Base music. Derive musician. Primary stress on C, the syllable before ion. Why? Suffix ion often attracts stress to the syllable directly before it forming patterns. The stress moves relative to the base. 3. Geo plus logy. 2. Geology. Base. Geology. As derived from geology family, consider geologist versus geology. Derived geology. Stress on all, the syllable before og. Why complex suffix like ology as a unit tend to place stress on the syllable immediately before the suffix or the root stem position. For example, the root syllable adjacent to ology gets prominence. C. Stress shifting suffix. Story example, democratic, economic, and photographic. Stress shifting suffix cause a complex relocation of stress from the base word to a different syllable in a derived form. The first one is democracy to democratic. Base democracy, primary stress on muck. Derived democratic, primary stress on crit. Why? Suffix is often shifts stress toward the syllable immediately before the suffix, and the base form democracy has a different stress pattern. Adding is moves stress to a different syllable. Here from mock to cry. 2. Economy to economic. Base economy, stress on con. Derive economic, stress on nom. Not stress shift relative to base. While adjective suffix is and related phonological strings reassign stress. The word stress pattern as an adjective difference from the noun. 3. Photograph. 2. Photographic. Base is photograph, stress on example, direct photographic. Stress on graph. Why? I shift main stress to a later syllable. The direct adjective has its primary stress moved toward the suffix. The penultimate stress position change. How to spot each type in practice. If you add full or less or less and the stress syllable stays the same, stress preserving. The stress ends up on the syllable immediately before the suffix. For example, ion, ionology, stress attracting. If the stress moves to a different syllable, find a way out. After the repetition, especially with each I of stress shifting. Here's the reference that I use for my explanation about study case part 2. Thank you for listening, Miss.